Keep
I'm
going.
Carrie Knox, and welcome to Kenya Elephant Orphanage. Orchard. Oh my goodness. So big. I wonder how old this one is.
This little guy over here got his own water truck. There we go.
Well, there's some more coming.
And they're not just walking.
It's feeding time.
Trotting. Hey, bud. Yeah. We got some branches over here.
Come close. Come close. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh my goodness.
Yeah, right? It's true.
Erica.
That you do them to have an easier time to go back into the world when it is time ready. If the elephants come next the line where you are advised to keep standing up. And this is because if you squat down or sit down and there is an elephant next to you, some of them see you as a toy to play with. So they might want to come and push and kick as they do with a soccer ball. But if you keep standing up, they will give you a lot of respect. This also means that if you've got little kids in front of you, try to provide special attention to the little ones, because some of the elephants sees them as of the same size and so want to play the pushing game with them. The elephants don't realize how heavy and strong they are, and so that is why we have to take care of the little ones. And thank you and welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. This is a project that was started officially back in the year 1977, after the death of David Sheldrick, who was a naturalist and the senior founder warden of the large Savannah National Park. He died in 1977, and this project was started in his memory under the management of the widow, who is now the late Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick, who's been running the project since then, until about 4 years ago, when she passed on, leaving the mandate to her daughter, Angela Sheldrick, who was running the project together with the mother for about 17 years before the mother passed on. And right now, The project is under the management of Angela Sheldrick, the daughter. We are taking care of orphan baby elephants and orphan baby rhinos, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. And that is why all the babies that you're going to see here today are orphans. They all have been rescued from different parts of the country, and they have different reasons for being orphans. Some of them, we know exactly what caused them to be left orphans, and that's why we rescued them. And others, we are really not very sure. But since the others were found when they were still at a very young age, at an age where they would not have survived without the mother's milk, and also without protection against other dangers, that is why we had to come in and help rescue them. A young elephant will need the mother's milk for the first 2 years minimum. And this means if they happen to lose the mothers when they're below 2, they will not survive. They can easily starve to death or can be attacked by the lions and the hyenas and be killed. And so that is the reason to why we have to come in so that we can help rescue them, 100 them here in the nursery for approximately 3 years. And any time between the age of 3 and 4, we will start to reintroduce all the elephants back into the wild. We necessarily don't take them where we found them, but we'll always reintroduce them to Tsavo East National Park and Kibwezi Forest. We do have 3 units. 2 of them are based within Tsavo East National Park, and 1 is within Kibwezi Forest. We do have our keepers at these units that will lead the orphans out in the park every day, setting them free in a wild environment so that they can interact, communicate, play, and make friends with different groups of wild elephants of their choices. Some of the wild elephants that our orphans will be interacting with are our ex-orphans that have already become wild. They do play a big role in welcoming in the new orphans and in introducing them to the rest of the park. This will happen on a daily basis, where orphans will be set free out in the park every morning and brought back at our units every evening. And after a long period of doing that, the relationship between our orphans and the wild elephants becomes a strong bond. Then our orphans will be invited and adopted. Once adopted, our orphans decide not to come back at our units. They want to stay with the new wild friends. If they make that decision, it means the wild elephants have adopted them to be part of the family, and so we'll train them, we'll protect them, we'll warn them, we'll show them everything within the park, and they will have become as wild as any other elephant out there. That process of reintroducing them back into the wild takes quite a long time before it fully happens. It takes a minimum of about 5 years before they start to make friends among the wild herds. And it takes this long period because it depends on the different characters of different elephants. It depends on the reasons that have caused them to be left orphans. It also depends on their age when they became orphans. It also depends on a factor that elephants will always stay in groups and families, and that is why strangers are not just invited anyhowly in a herd of all elephants. And that is why our keepers have to stay with them until the time they will be adopted. And once they all get adopted, then we can say we've achieved our target. Our main target here is to rescue them, since they were found orphans, and rear them, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. Right now, we've got a total of 29 elephants that will be coming before you. They will be coming down into groups. Now we've got a group of 16 elephants. In a few minutes, all the 16 will walk away, so that we can get in another group of 13, slightly older than what you can see now. They all have names. We've named them after the place that we have rescued them, or reasons that caused them to be left orphans, and that's how we can easily tell them apart. I will mention the names one by one, plus their approximated age. And I say approximated because we were really not there when they were born, and so we could not tell their exact age, but there are a number of things we look at to give our approximation. And since most of them come in when they're still very young, it is very easy to tell. And that is why the difference between their real age and our approximated age is very minor. Maybe a month or 2 might be the difference, if there is any. I will start with the elephant at the far end on my left. His name is Mukutan along the line. He's about 1.5 years. He was rescued from Laikipia, and he is a victim of human-wildlife conflict. He was found in a community farm in a maize plantation without the rest of the family members. And it is believed that the rest of the herd might have gone into people's farm to feed on their crops, and the owners came out to fight them away. In the course of the chasing and running up and down and getting them out of the farm, he might have lost direction from the rest of the family members and was identified later on all alone. By the time he was identified, nobody knew where the mother was or where the rest of the family members were. And he's too young, male, and also without protection against other dangers. And that's why we were conducted to help rescue him. Behind Mukutan, Mukutan is now the one close to the water trough. Behind Mukutan is an elephant by the name Tingai, who is 2 years. And Tingai was rescued from Samburu, and Tingai is a victim of human-wildlife conflict. He is believed to have been separated from his family by human beings, and he came in with a spear wound in the back, which is believed to have been caused by these people as well. We are happy to have successfully managed to treat the wound, and right now he's doing all right at the age of 2 years. Next to Tingai, the one that is close to the line now, is an elephant by the name Choka. And Choka is approximately 17 months old, almost 1.5 years. Choka was rescued from Sava Conservation Area, and he is a starvation victim due to drought. We've had a long period of drought in most parts of the country, and it is still happening in some parts at the moment. And this has caused lots of animals to die out there, including female elephants that had young ones with them. In the event where we've got drought, female elephants who've got young ones with them suffer a lot because the mothers are not getting any food, are not getting any water. But the babies keep on suckling them every now and then. In the long run, the mother ends up dying faster and the babies later on. Choka was found standing next to the dead body of the mother. The mother who had died from starvation due to drought, and that's why Choka had to be rescued. Standing next to Choka at the moment is an elephant by the name Kitich, who is about 1 year old, who is one of the latest arrivals that we've got in the nursery, who was rescued from Kitich camp, which is found in Samburu, and a starvation victim. You can tell he's very skinny compared to the others, just because he's been with us for just a few weeks. And we are happy that he is adjusting well to be able to get back to normal. In front of Kitich at the corner is an elephant by the name Kamili, who is approximately 2 years old. And Kamili was rescued from Sava Conservation Area. She's also a starvation victim due to drought. She was identified all alone, very thin, very weak, very much dehydrated and emaciated. Their status was found in to tell that she had been without food for a very long time and was starving to death. Very lucky to have been found still alive. Smallest in size on my left is an elephant by the name Nyambeni. Also happens to be the youngest in the nursery at the moment, who is approximately 8 months old. And Nyambeni was rescued from Imendi Forest, which is found in Meru, having been identified by some villagers who are in the forest and happened to have come across a tiny baby elephant all alone within the forest, which is not normal and also not safe. Not safe because at this age she could not have defended herself in case of any attack, and not normal because female elephants are very protective of the young ones. They've got very strong maternal instinct. They don't leave the young ones anyhowly. Finding a young baby of this size all alone meant that something wrong or something serious had happened to the mother. So that is why this baby had to be rescued. Walking downwards along the waterhole is an elephant by the name Silaita, who is about 1.5 years, who was rescued from Samburu, and after she had been separated from her family by human beings. Right now she's approximately 1.5 years old. In front of Silaita with the ears raised up, out, is an elephant by the name Morido, who is one of the new ones in the nursery, who's been with us for a few weeks now, who is approximately 10 months. who was rescued from Samburu, identified all alone, also as starvation victim. Next to Morijo is an elephant by the name Mgeno, who is 1 year old. Mgeno was rescued from Sava Conservation Area, Mgeno Range, as starvation victim due to drought. Along the line after Mgeno is an elephant by the name Weka, who is approximately 15 months. And Weka was rescued from Sava Conservation Area as starvation victim due to drought. Next, after Weka, at the corner is an elephant by the name Kirio, who is approximately 16 months, who was rescued from Kirio Valley, which is found within the Rift Valley, and being specific, West Pokot. This is one of the remote areas in our country that has got different communities that keep on fighting every now and then due to cattle rustling. And in the course of people's fights, sometimes the animals are caught in between, and it ends up causing either a separation or a death. Kirio was found lying down all alone without the mother and without the rest of the family members, and that's why the rangers contacted us to help rescue her. When she arrived in the nursery, we discovered that she had some paralysis on both her hind legs. She could not make any step. She was only dragging both the legs on the ground. We could not tell what had caused the paralysis. And so we had to give her time, and after months, she started to improve and walk properly. And right now, she's getting stronger every day. The big one along the line at the far end corner is an elephant by the name Ziwadi, who is approximately 3 years. And Ziwadi was rescued from the Masai Mara. Ziwadi was identified all alone, believed to have been abandoned or left behind by the rest of the family members, for reasons that we could not tell by then. But when she arrived in the nursery, we discovered that she was epileptic, and she used to have frequent seizures. And so we had to put her on medication, which has really helped. The seizures have not gone completely, but the frequency is totally reduced. She used to have frequent seizures on a daily basis, but now she gets into one seizure after several months, which means she's on the right path of healing. We are hoping that she will have gotten back to normal by the time she'll be ready to go back into the world. Immediate on my right is an elephant by the name Latika, who is 1.5 years. And Latika was rescued from Sava Conservation Area. She was found trapped in a snare all around her neck, and that's why we rescued her. A snare is a wire trap. Being around the neck will kill them instantly. As the animal struggles to get out of it, it becomes more tight and will suffocate them within a very short period. Latika was lucky to have been found still alive. That's why we rescued her. Right now, she's approximately 1.5 years, and she's well known for being an elephant with the shortest trunk. Along the waterhole next to me is an elephant by the name Tabu. And Tabu is about 1.5 years. Tabu was rescued from Sava Conservation Area. He is a starvation victim due to drought. Small one taking water from the water trough right in front of me is an elephant by the name Mzinga, who happens to be the second youngest that we've got in the nursery, who is approximately 9 months old, was rescued from Sava Conservation Area, being specific, Savo East National Park, was identified all alone within the park, and nobody could tell what had happened to the mother because the baby was all alone. And since Savo has been hit a lot in terms of drought, we suspect maybe mother might have died from starvation in a different place. The baby was trying to look for help and company, and that's how she ended up on the road. We've got another small one at the end, an elephant by the name Shuja, who is about 10 months old. And Shuja was rescued in area. Shuja was found stuck in a little water hole. We do have water holes that are used by animals to get water within the parks. And because of the drought, these water holes have dried and there's no water within these areas. But there is little sticky mud that has been left in these areas. That is a spot or an environment where Shuja was found stuck in. And he's lucky that we found him still alive, and so we had to rescue him. That makes a total of 16 elephants in the first group. In a few minutes, they will all walk away so that we can get in another group of 13 slightly older than what you can see now. Generally, different reasons have caused all these babies to be left orphans. And human wildlife conflict is the first major reason that is causing most of them to be left orphans. Human wildlife conflict is a big problem in our country, and it is a problem because there is always an increase in the population of human beings compared to the space or size of land. And this has caused human beings to occupy areas that belong to wild animals. And that is why areas where these animals have known originally to browse and look for water have been occupied by people. Migratory routes of wild animals no longer exist. They've been occupied by human beings. And people are doing farming, building structures, and doing lots of developments in these areas. And that is why if these animals want to migrate from one area to another, they are not able to do it. They will encounter the crops and the structures, and the owners will always want to fight them. In the process of the fight, sometimes the mothers might end up being killed and the baby is left alone. Or sometimes the baby and the mother might be separated from one another and nobody knows where the other one went by we human beings. And yet, it is our role as human beings to care and protect for these animals. As human beings, we fail in our role by causing them to be left orphans just because we are interested in their ivory. And an elephant ivory adds no value to human life. And so that is why I would like to urge all of you who are here today to help stop poaching. And you can help stop poaching if you want. And this is right from your home and right from your country. And I say this because the end products from ivory are being sold from all over the world because they don't have a place to sell this ivory, which means the population of elephants will continue to increase, which will really be great. So that is why ivory poaching is one of the reasons that has caused a few of them to be left orphans and therefore brought here in the nursery. Reasons for being orphans are human related in one way or the other. And that is why it is important that as human beings we have to come in and make sure that we give them a second chance to survive back into the world. Otherwise, without them being identified and being rescued, it means all that you can see here now would have died, which means the population of treating them and just setting them free to continue their own natural life. This is not necessarily on elephants and rhinos alone. It is with any other wild animals that have been found out there with any health problems. And once identified, we are conducted, and our mobile veterinary unit will either fly or drive to the scene. We also have anti-poaching teams, and these teams are mostly based in Savo. They will go around the parks. They go around the parks looking for snares and desnaring them. The snares are the traps that are set in between the two. School. They need to learn to walk around, to move here. The elephants. Yes, all the bushes you can see around is part of question?
Age of a mature elephant.
Attain maturity or the puberty age for elephants is we start the process of releasing one from another. They are all different. They might look the same to you because you're seeing. Reintroduced. units as a Also, some boys want to go and look for females in other huts at a different place, while the females will stay together for the rest of their lives. And generally, bring them the animals. Also, to have a perfect memory, which means to remember everything that happened in their lives. The dog was found to be genetic blindness. He does not have dog now, and so he cannot be fixed in operation. That is why he decides to take We don't allow the public to get close to his pet because a lot of noise makes them scared. If we find them, do they accept us or they're afraid of us? Most of them are found lying down very thin, very weak, and very sickly. Very few that are found that are strong are afraid of human beings, and so we have to capture them and calm them down from here. But most of them are in a poor condition, so we just have to lift them and put them in a plane and fly them in. Yes, elephants do cry, but they don't cry tears. They do have something on their side of the cheek, which is called a temporal gland, where all the reactions will take place. If they are crying, you'll see some liquid flowing. If they're more excited, you'll also see some liquid dropping from that end. Well, if there are no more questions, the elephants are left with very few minutes to walk away. That's the end of our viewing. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you for visiting the show Kuala.